Okay. Alright, as we get ready to put this back into place, 13mm sway bar there. Then just some red rubber grease. We're going to put it inside that bushing, not on this back side, but inside the center there, and just a wee little bit right there. Do that to both sides, because this job you have to do them together. Otherwise, you can then do just one side and then the other side. But this is the only thing you have to do, kind of back and forth, driver side, passenger side. So let's get this lubed up, and we'll put it on real quick. We slip that on. As you can see, it kind of cones this way. It rides up against the body. Let's go on the other side, and let's do the same thing on that side as well. Alright, there's the other side. We'll get this greased up, and we'll get it on there. Okay, we now have both sides on those. Next thing we need is to put our clamp on. And as you can see, it's not quite going to go on because of that. But line them up, and then we'll start putting our bolts in about halfway, or in, and tighten them down halfway, go to the side halfway, and back and forth. All right, let's get these bolts in. All right, now we're going to tighten them down. Okay, so just using hand tools, no impacts or anything. I just like to get them, just start and get them half down, kind of see how much room we got there. And then we'll go to the other side and do the same. All right, there we go. Now we got both sides not fully down, because I can still put some fingers in there. But now let's go and, as Mike, who's also restoring a 67 Porsche, but his is a 911S. Way to go, Mike. I'll actually leave a link to his channel down below. But we're now going to put some thread lock in on these bolts on both sides, and we're going to tighten them down to 18 foot-pounds. And then we can then move on to the next step of rebuilding our front end on this 67 Porsche 912. Okay, now it's a little bit of blue Loctite back there. And we'll snug those down and torque them. So even though that everything is tight on this, you can see that bar still can move and sway, and you can kind of push it back and forth a little bit on that. All right, and let's torque this down to 18. All right, so they're all torqued down, so we can now move on from the sway bar. It's good to go. Next thing we're going to do is put in our bushings on our drop link. And so this is what they look like. I'm going to put a little bit of red rubber grease right here in the middle, and then we'll put them in to both of those sides. Let's go ahead and get those in there real quick, and I'll show you how. So hopefully you can see that is just a fine coat on there, and also down in the middle. And you're probably thinking, we're going to use all this up. Nope, you used very little of it, so this will last you for years. All right, let's press that into there now. Getting these little bitches in is hard. A little around the edge, around the rim, a little around the rim here, a little lube around the hole. Get your rubber all greased up and lubed up. Yes, this is PG-13. And then the fun part. There it is. We have to now put in the spacers or the shims into there. Kind of the same process. Lube them up and get them in there. Let's see how we do that. A Q-tip. Put one there. Put one here. Up. So you can't press those in. There we go. Now it's going in. Okay. That one's in. Now we'll do this one. Next, we need to put our drop link. Doesn't really matter which way it goes on. Just goes on. Just kind of match it up. Stick it on there. Kind of wiggle it on. And then once you're on, the actual sway bar should be sticking out just a little bit. Kind of right like that. Just like that. And that's how you'll know when it's all the way seated. Now we can put our bolts in. Okay, so here's our little washer plates. They're gonna go up on top. Obviously circle goes to circle like that, and that'll be the same on the bottom. The little tabs go up, and the little tabs go down. So let's get those set and put our hardware on. Okay, we got that set into place. We're going to put a little blue thread lock on there and put our bottom plate in, and then we'll put our nuts on and we'll tighten them down also to 18 foot-pounds. Let's go and grab that now. Okay, so we have those snugged down, making sure that's all nice and even all the way around. Now we're just going to torque both those down to 18 foot-pounds. All right, we got 18 foot-pounds on them. So let's go to the next step. Do you remember in the last video when we put those bushings and those sleeves inside of our drop link? So you can kind of tell straight, and then it kind of bends, and if you notice it kind of bends in like that. Well, this part here that bends in goes in right in here. Another one goes right down there where you can see that ball joint and that bracket go. So we're going to slide those into place and put the bolts in. We got it into place. We'll take our bolt, stick it in there, and a little bit more of the blue Loctite on the back, and we'll get our nut on there. Let's go and do that now. And I wouldn't tighten this too tight because we still have to get it positioned down here. So just snug it up for now. But when we are ready to torque it out, it will be at 18 foot-pounds, just like these up here, just like those, and eventually this down here as well. So let's go and get this part set up. These are our new ball joints, and they're quite expensive. And I went ahead and packed some extra grease down in there because they look like there's some in there, but not enough for my taste. So we're gonna go ahead and just slide this into here, and it takes a little bit of force to get it in there. So I'll use both hands, get this in here, and then we'll go on to putting in the brackets. Not gonna lie, that was a bitch to get in there. Had to use a little extra force to get that in there. But it's in, so now we're gonna talk about getting this bracket in right there. So there's our bracket. That's gonna go in right here. Kind of move this sway bar for a minute here. Up and out of the way, see? Woohoo! Of course, and get this out of the way. Sit, boo-boo, sit. So this will go in right there. Of course, it's not going to right this second. And these are the big bolts that it uses. Of course, there's a cotter pin on the bottom, so you have to get yourself a new cotter pin, and that castle nut goes on top. But these drop in, so let me drop these in, and then we'll set up the cotter pins. I got it in, but as you can see, the bolts have to go in kind of straight down, and you're gonna have to like set one in, and then wiggle this up, set it in, and then line the second one up, wiggle this back and forth, hit it in until they come down. And now, as you can see, they're there. That's the two. And then our sway bar link now. We can then start to adjust it into place. Now on the bottom here, we're going to grab our castle nuts and our cotter pins, and we'll get them set up. And the foot-pound torque on the bottom of this, I believe, is 54, but I could be wrong. All right, then we just want to snug these down, and then we'll do a torque on them at 54. All right, let's get our torque wrench out. All right, 54. That one's good. Okay, there's our cotter pin. Okay, I'm gonna take our cotter pin. We're just gonna push it straight through, and then we're gonna bend those back and wrap them around our nut, and we'll get to this one. And that'll be in for our ball joint on this side. Okay, kind of give you an idea. See how those two pins go in? And then we're gonna bend back the tabs, and we'll be good to go for down here. That's what it should look like when you bend over those cotter pins or cotter keys. So let's get up and let's fix the sway bar drop link. So when it comes to getting the bottom link into here, we're gonna need to use a jack and jack this up to where we can align those. Let's go ahead and start pumping. Let's get that into place. You may have to apply a little bit of persuasion to get this to center up, but you'll get it. All right, we got it in there. We'll go ahead and finish it up and putting the bolts on. Remember, we're gonna torque that to 18 foot-pounds. Next is gonna be our pitman arm, or our ball joint to tie rod, which I haven't put in just yet. But this just simply sits down on top. I said simply, just, there we go. Just gonna push it down a little bit. And then we'll put the another castle nut on there and torque that down to 32 foot-pounds. Hopefully you can see this. But we need to get that rubber boot to where it comes up and snugs up into the bottom of that ball joint there. So we're gonna just take our little tool, little pick tool, and just get that to where it comes up and meets up to the bottom of that before we torque that down. Just as before, get your cotter pin in and put it in there. Oh, much better. Do you remember, guys, when we first took this off, how it would just flop around in there? Nice. Okay, I think we're gonna go ahead and put the strut in, and last thing we'll do is we'll put that tie rod in, and I think we'll get ready to take care of the hub and brake assembly next. Sweet. We're now time to put in our strut. It's gonna go, bottom goes in here, and then up there she will go. Let's get that into place. But the two smaller bolts go in the front, and the bigger one goes in the back where that shim was, and that placement tab. Now I have ordered new safety tabs, but they have not come in yet, and I want to finish this video up. So for demonstration purposes, I'm going to show you how to put these in. I'm not going to torque anything down until they come in. That way I can finish up the video. But you'll go ahead and torque these down to 34 foot-pounds, and then we will move this into place, and we'll get up top and we'll take care of that. So let's get these tightened up, and remember, 34 foot-pounds on these. We have everything in except for that tie rod. It's looking pretty good. Remember, as soon as we get those, we'll clamp those down. Next thing we need to do is put on our tie rod, and we'll get that going here. Alright, next thing we need to do is put on our tie rod. And we're just going to take the tie rod, and remember, it's counterclockwise, and you measured it before you took this off, remember? For me, it was about 3 threads this way, and about a ½ inch or about 10 threads back there on the yoke. So I'm just going to turn this until I get to that same spot, and then we will put on our tie rod, but we won't connect it until we have both sides set up and we can kind of get this into a ballpark. So let me screw this in, and we'll get the tie rod and we'll screw it in, and we'll kind of just finger tight it for now. So here's our new tie rod ends. And I'll pull this plastic cover off. There she is. And all we're going to do is put her into there. I'm going to count back, remember, 4 threads. And then we should be kind of good to go in that manner right there. So let's get this screwed on, and we'll take it to the next step. Alright, so what I've done is I've put the tie rod in a vice grip, and I've put the tie rod end, one that goes to the steering, to the knuckle, in a vice grip, and we're just going to turn this until we get to 4 threads, which is where this was at before. And we'll get that, we'll screw that down, and we'll go put it on the car. Alright guys, just to kind of give you an idea here. So we've got down to our 4 threads, as you can see right there. And I went ahead and used a vice grip just to kind of help me turn it, since it does kind of get kind of tough there. And this will just help you turn that more. So now let's go put it on the car. Okay, back on the car. We've got our tie rod in position here. Remember, it's reverse threads on this. So instead of lefty-loosey, whatever, righty-tighty, it's reverse. So take this and screw it in until you get to where you were at before. And you remember, we measured, so you're good to go. And we're just going to keep screwing this, and screwing this, and screwing this, and screwing this, and screwing this. Is it beer time yet? And screwing this, and screwing this. Alright, we finally got it tightened up in there. And this is kind of where it's going to sit. Remember, we're not going to hammer that down until we have that other side put in. So we're going to just leave that kind of open for now. Now let's get on our brake caliper bracket and dust shield, and we'll move on to more. Next on the list is to put in our brake caliper, kind of like that. We'll get those bolts and we'll get them set. Alright, kind of get these all set here. Now I was not able to find the torque settings for these 4 bolts here, so I'm going to do probably a 30 foot-pound torque on these guys here just to be safe, and then I'll push those tabs down. We should be ready to rock and roll on the dust shield. So let's get that done. This last one, get it in there. Alright, all that is torqued up. So for now, we're going to end this video, and in the next video we're going to show you how to put the wheel hub on with the disc and the bearings and the caliper. So this will end this video. So this is our front end reassembly of the suspension. In the next video we'll do the brake and we'll do the wheel bearings in that one. All right, guys, thank you so much. Please like this video and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. We have a lot more coming up with this Porsche, and we hope you'll enjoy. All right, guys, until next time.